Alright, so this is part 2 of why I don't like the Democratic and Republican parties. Again, people don't know is the Republican Democratic Party, regardless of what they say on the news, they're working hand in hand, which they are. They're not that different. They're literally working hand in hand. And if you really think they're not, they are. Only thing you have to do is look at any video from like the 90s and early 2000s to realize, oh, these people are exactly the same. They're very anti-freedom. They're very, they're very, particularly a lot of them are definitely against LGBTQ rights. No, they're definitely for themselves. They lie and say drill music's causing crimes, but yeah, it's not drill music that's causing crimes. No, it's all. It is. If you look at Black history, it's all of the economic decline that the Democrats and the Republicans put in the Black communities, so they make us look bad. And then when we sing or talk about it, or sing edgy stuff, then they want to be like, well, it's drill music. No. You don't get to do that. Okay? And I also don't like people that look like us. Okay? Basically demonizing their own. And when I mean us, I'm talking about Black people. Okay? Demonizing our own because you don't like how they say it. Well, it doesn't matter how they say it. The message needs to be brought out that, listen. Like what Tupac said, you can get mad all you want. At the same time, if the government because the government, what people don't know, back in the 80s, back in the Reagan era, Reagan put crack in the Black communities. Then you have idiots saying, well, then you think Black people know what? We're stupid and didn't know what crack was? Well, first of all, nobody knew what crack was back in the 80s. It was a new thing. Okay? People probably thought it was just like, cigarettes or whatever. Nobody really knew what crack was back then. Hey, let's be real. So when you have no jobs, no economic downturn, and people get depressed, naturally people are going to do what? Do crack. And then people are going to sell crack because that's all that's left. Or drugs in general. So then they would have an excuse to blame us for the economic downturn. Okay? And that was under a Republican president. Okay? And under a Democratic presidency, they also did the same thing. They just let it happen. They didn't really care about us. And then, like I said, when we talked about it, or had the balls to talk about it, they tried to say, in our own way, or people from there in their own way, talked about the economic problems and the stuff that people were doing. They tried to demonize our music, saying, our music created criminals, when our music did not create criminals. Our music was a product of their environment. That the government made. Because the government made, the products of their environment. Okay? So let's just stop blaming people who make music, who talk about that stuff. And people want to make music saying, about them being horny or whatever, so what? It's called freedom of speech in this country. They have the right to do that. This isn't a communist country. This isn't Islam. Or Islamic country where women have no freedom. Okay? And I know how a lot of guys think. A lot of guys are still very sexist against women in this country as well. Not failing to realize women are human beings too. Alright? And they should be treated as such. Not every woman on the planet is a sex object. And we need to get that out of our heads. And I know it's hard as men. Because we like women, And women need to understand, yes, a man's gonna like you, visual form, with a nice, with nice knees, with nice boobs, and a nice ass. That's just how men are. You can't is us for liking you for liking you for having a nice ass or nice titties. That's just how men are, but that's how we're built. Then your personality comes with it. That's just how it is. So it's the same thing with women too. You can't demonize a man for liking you or liking your ass or titties, because that's just how men are built. Because if we weren't built like that, nobody on the planet would be born. That's just the reality. So you can feel how you want to feel, but that's just reality. And also, what's reality? Like, listen, when it comes to religion and stuff, I don't care if you're religious or not, but don't force your religion on other people, okay? Don't. Okay? It's not cool, that's not right. Don't force your religion on other people. Okay? Especially if they don't believe it. Okay? What you preach in your household is what you preach in your household. But whatever I preach in my household is what I preach in my household. And if I want to teach my kids that God doesn't exist, which is actually fact instead of fiction, which is 100% fact. It actually really doesn't take that much. But same thing. If I prove a fact, yes, to my kids, yes, I can do that. What was I gonna say? But at the same time, if you want to teach your kids, the sky is purple, I don't care. I mean, it's your household, you can do what you want. Oh, and